So today we are having a welcome to Bhakti Sangha Japa Conference. So today's class will be given by Her Grace Kirida Sundari Mataji on the topic of Sri Caitanya Caritamrta. Earlier I read the class in an announcement that it was chapter 24, Madhya Lila chapter 24 and verse number 206. Then another one I also read that Mataji is going to give the summary study number 6. So whatever is, please, Kirida Sundari Mataji, welcome and thank you very much for giving your valuable time and association. All glories to Guru Maharaj and Prabhupada. Hare Krishna Mataji, please take over the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Madhya Mataji, for so sweetly and warmly welcoming everybody.
Your voice is very low, Mataji. Maybe you can speak little louder.
Hare Krishna. Am I audible now?
Yeah, yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Madhya Mataji, for so warmly and sweetly welcoming everybody. And thank you everybody for joining us, for sparing your valuable time. So, we'll begin. Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So we are reading from Sri Caitanya Caritamrta, Madhya Lila, chapter 24, entitled Explanations of the Atmarama words. Atmaramascha munyo nirgranthavi api urukrame kuruvanti ahitukim bhaktim itam bhuta guno hari. So as Mataji said, that two flyers were posted, in one it was written that I'll be doing the summary study number 6, and in one it was the words number 206. So actually yesterday Savitri Mataji stopped at 205 and definitely will cover 206, but also it's been more than 15 verses that's been covered from our last class. So I thought that let me summarize also and then cover 206 also. So we'll begin with the prayers. Om Caitanya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Caitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktichari Swaminiti Namah. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namah. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshasarini. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So before I start, I just seek blessings and prayers from all the wonderful Vaishnavis and Vaishnavas joining the call to please shower your heartfelt prayers so that I may be able to speak on such an esoteric subject matter with relevance, with the right message that Krishna Kaviraj Goswami and our dear Srila Prabhupada wants to convey. Of course, in glorification of Sri Caitanya Caritamrta and in purification of my own self. I bow down to each and every one of you. Vancha kalpatarivascha kripa sindhuvaevacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vishnavebhyo namo namo. So, in this chapter, the 61 explanations of the Atma Rama that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving to Srila Sanatana Goswami, out of those 61, till our last class of summary, we covered 17 different meanings of Atma Rama. Right? So, just a quick, what were those 17? The first one is the sadhaka, a neophyte, a beginner. Then with the meaning of the word Atma, which is also the absolute, which can be recognized into three features, that is the Brahman realization, the localized Paramatma realization, and finally the Bhagavan realization. We have the second one as Brahmamaya, third one as Prapta Brahmamaya, fourth one as Mumukshu, fifth one is Jivan Mukta, and sixth one is Prapta Swarupa. And then the next word in the verse, that is Nirgrantha and Muni, which was also been one of the categorized as one of the different meanings. Then eighth one is Sagarbha Yoga Rukrukshu, then Nigarbha Yoga Rukshu, then Sagarbha Yoga Ruddha, then Nigarbha Yoga Ruddha, then Sagarbha Prapti Siddhi, and Nigarbha Prapti Siddhi. That makes 13. Then Mahaprabhu explained the 14th meaning as Atma, the meaning of Atma as mind, the mental speculators. Then Atma as endeavor. And then Atma as Dhriti or endurance, means one who is fully perfect in knowledge and with patience doing all kinds of endeavor. And the 17th, okay, we did till 16th actually. So we'll do 17th, 18th and 19th. So 17th is how, now it's been started off with 186, where it says that Atma Shabde Buddhi. The Atma also means the meaning as intelligence or Buddhi. But Mahaprabhu explains that even in this there are two subcategories, but he made it as two different categories. One, he's saying that there are two types of Atma Ramas. One who is a learned scholar and one who is an illiterate, is intelligent, because Atma means Buddhi. So one who is intelligent and he also utilizes his intelligence. But another is that, yes, they are intelligent, but unfortunately they are illiterate or they are foolish. So this is the 17th and the 18th meaning comes forward. So one who is intelligent and utilizes those intelligent and are learned scholars. And then comes the Atma, the meaning is also intelligence, but they are intelligent, but they are illiterate and foolish. So that completes the 18 different meanings of Atma Rama words. But just quickly summarizing what this intelligence is and what are those persons who utilizes this intelligence and also those who have this intelligence, but unfortunately they are uneducated or they are illiterate or they are foolish. But irrespective of whosoever they are, Mahaprabhu is saying that it's only by the mercy of Krishna and by the association of the devotees that one finally comes on to the platform of devotional service. And when one comes on to the platform of devotional service, one gives up all kind of desires that one may be hankering for. Right? And also, we read that how any kind of the tribal people, the hunters, the people who are born of low families, women, Shudras, and what to talk about them, also the birds and beasts, even they can be engaged in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead till the time they are working. I'm so sorry, it's distracting me. Can everybody mute their phone, please? So everybody can be brought on to the point of doing devotional service and finally getting elevated when they literally want to progress towards the devotional service. Now, how it can be done? Because Krishna himself says, right, Tesham Patata Yuktanam Bhajatam Priti Purvakam. If anybody does any kind of devotional service to me, Priti Purvakam, the condition is with love, right? Then I will give them the intelligence. Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam Yena Mam Upayanti Te. Then I will give them the intelligence by which they can understand me and they can achieve my abode. Right? And to this, Mahaprabhu is saying that there are basically 5 processes through which one can perform devotional service. Whether one may be a low-class woman or a low-class, then whether they can be a woman, a 4th-class man, or uncivilized people, or whosoever, they are foolish, illiterate, irrespective of that. But if they try to want to come onto the platform of devotional service and they follow these 5 processes, then definitely they'll achieve the pure devotional service. And what are those? First is Satsanga, Sadhu Sangha, if we associate with the like-minded devotees. And then Krishna, Archa Vigraha Seva, deity worship. And then Bhagavata Shravan. Bhagavata Shravan is listening to Srimad Bhagavatam every day with niyat, right? Every day with some process. Then Nama Sankirtan, chanting the holy names of the Lord. And finally Vrajavas, that is staying in the abode, that is either Dham, that is Mathura Dham or Navadvip Dham. So if anybody does all these, then finally what will happen? One's dormant love for Krishna, which is already there in one's heart, is finally awakened. And they come onto the platform of devotional service. But this can only be happened. The first thing that was mentioned is Sadhu Sangha. If we are not in the association of devotees, then definitely we are missing the major crux of our devotional service. So we should not ever take this association of devotees to be granted. Even though in the association of devotees, sometimes it happens, that the opinions doesn't match, right? And one says one thing, another says another thing. Still, there might be some so-called apparently mentioned as conflict, but still try to be in the association of devotees. Example is given of such a beautiful, of a diamond, right? How the diamond comes on to this level of being a diamond where it can be praised as a diamond. It's not that from initial stage the diamond is a diamond. No. It has been crushed. It has been polished. Right? Only then the jewel comes out with its own effulgence. That is the diamond. So if we want to be pure in our devotional service, let that happen, that we may be crushed among those devotees, and there might be some conflicts, but we may rise up with those conflicts. So let that happen. So therefore, this association of devotees is very important, and that's why it's the first thing that Rupa Swami mentions, Sadhu Sangha. It's only and only through Sadhu Sangha that one will be inspired to do Krishna Seva, to do Archa Vigraha Seva, will be inspired to read Srimad Bhagavatam, to serve Bhakti Vedanta, to serve Bhagavat, and one will be inspired to do Nama Sankirtan, and finally one will be inspired to stay, to go to Dham, to visit Dham, or to stay in Dham. So all these processes will be followed only with the association of like-minded devotees. So, then Mahaprabhu explains that if a person is really intelligent, then even if he has some kind of material desires, but still he will come on to this level of devotional service, and the Lord will make sure that there is no material desire left in that devotee. So whether one may desire something or nothing, the famous words, akama sarva kama va moksha kama udarvi, trivena bhakti yogena yajate purusham param. But if anybody has any desire, but still the Supreme Personality of Godhead will make sure that the person, and of course, with the desire, we approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We don't go here and there to other demigods. But if we go to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then the Lord will make sure that, all those material hankerings which are there in our heart is diminished. And finally, He bestow us with His pure devotional service. And that's the famous words from Srimad Bhagavatam also, where it says that Krishna, whenever Krishna is requested to fulfill one desire, He undoubtedly does so. It's not that He doesn't do. He does fulfill all our material desires. But as a loving Father, He does not award anything which after being enjoyed, we will again go back to have more hankerings for the material desires, and then He has to again fulfill. Rather, what will happen? He will engage in His service, and He forcibly gives shelter of His lotus feet, where one will forget all other desires and will come on to the platform of devotional service. So today I think Govinda Gopika Mataji, she posted a very beautiful quote by Srila Prabhupada in Bhakti Sangha group only, and it so much makes relevance, But if one renders even a small amount of sincere, swalpam, a small amount of devotional service, then what happens? Krishna, He becomes obligated to elevate such person. It's such a strong statement. Krishna comes in the obligation. He becomes obligated to elevate such person. That's the power of true devotional service. And that's what, so beautifully and wonderfully was explained in the last class that was on Thursday by Preeti Vilasini Mataji. That how even she was giving the example of Draupadi. She was giving the example of Gajendra. She was giving the example of Kubja, Dhruva. They all had all these material desires. What Dhruva went for? To have the kingdom greater than that of his great-grandfather, Lord Brahma. He went with those material desires. What Gajendra was seeking for? Gajendra, again, there are two things to understand. Gajendra is in distress. If he would have not been in distress, he would have not been prayed, because he was simply enjoying with his she-elephants and baby elephants. Gajendra was simply enjoying his life. But since he was in distress, he approached the Supreme Lord Narayana. And how wonderfully they are illiterate, but he uses that intelligence in service of Krishna. And then she was giving the example of Yamunacharya, such a detailed, beautiful story. I really loved it. So this is how swalpam, just a minute, a fraction of devotional service we do for Supreme Lord, for our dear most divine couple. Krishna becomes obligated to elevate such person, and He gives shelter. He gives shelter of His own lotus feet. That's such a, assuring statement that is there in Srimad Bhagavatam, that it shows us, that whatever we are doing is simply not a waste of time. Rather, we are increasing our spiritual balance, right? So that we can achieve the goal of this human form of life. So this is what Mahaprabhu is explaining. Fine, there are different, meanings to this Atmarama verse, but if we don't go deep into those technicalities, but we try to imbibe the message that, we are learning from these various subject matter, then definitely our life is successful. It looks like this explanations of Atmarama verse, what's the need even if we remember all those 61, we are not here to become a great scholars, we are not here that we are going to recite in front of somebody, or we're going to try to prove ourselves that yes, we know all those. This is not about just reading it and learning it and mugging up and, trying to prove ourselves. some scholars. But out of those 61 explanations, trying to understand where we fit in and how we can improve ourselves, how we can imbibe those things in our life, and finally achieve the most ultimate human form of life, the goal of this human form of life, reaching that point. So, she has already covered so beautifully, so I'll not go in detail, but this is the meaning, that how the Atma, the meaning of Atma is intelligent, and Atma Rama is one who possesses intelligence, and they are of two types, that one who may be a learned scholar and also one who has that intelligence. He is Atma Rama, but is foolish or is illiterate. So that completes our 18 meanings of this Atma Rama verse. Now we move on to text 200, from where I think so Savitri Mataji started yesterday, where she was explaining the another meaning of Atma, that is the 19th meaning that Mahaprabhu is giving to Srila Sanatana Goswami, is the meaning of Atma Shabde Swabhava Kahe Tate Rame Atma Rama Jivayata Sthavara Jangame, where it says that another meaning of this word Atma is one characteristic, one own nature. And what is the nature of a Jiva? Jive Sarupa Hoy Nitya Krishna Das. The eternal constitutional position of a Jiva, or a nature characteristics of a Jiva, is that Jiva is eternally the servant of the Supreme Lord. He is always the servant. Jive Swarupa Hoy Nitya Krishna Das. He is eternally the servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So here Mahaprabhu is explaining that all living entities, when he says all living entities, he wants to literally stress on the point whether they may be moving or non-moving. They all are known as Atma Rama. Right? That's the original nature of the living entity. The living entity may include the great personalities like the four Kumaras, Sukdev Goswami, Ved Vyas, whosoever, and also the living entities means the low-class people, also foolish people, and what to talk about them, even the non-moving things like trees, plants, birds, beasts, even they are all Atma Rama. Because if their original nature, because the original nature of that living entity is to consider oneself to be eternal servant of Krishna. But once we are in this material world, what is happening? We are so much influenced by the Maya. We are so much influenced by the energy of that Maya that we think, no, we are the supreme enjoyer. We are the supreme proprietor. We are the master. And we just don't acknowledge the supremacy, the position of Krishna. Right? And what happened because of that? Our original consciousness, our original constitutional position of being a servant of Krishna is simply covered by that influence of Maya. And we think ourselves to be the masters. So here Mahaprabhu is trying to explain that we should understand that what is our original position, and accordingly we should act. We should forget, that we are the original masters or the proprietor, and we should try to understand the supremacy of Krishna and understand him as the supreme master, as the supreme proprietor. And then Mahaprabhu is saying that he has already described in detail that how devotional service of Vyasadeva, of Sukdev Goswami, of the fourth Kumaras have already been celebrated and elevated them. But now he's trying to explain, how immovable living entities like trees and plants, how they engage in the Lord's devotional service and perfect their life. Right? And to this 205, the last verse that was covered by Savitri Mataji was that she covered with saying that everyone is eligible to receive Krishna's mercy. Because when one wants to come on to perform a kind of devotional service, in the last class we covered that the mercy of Lord is very important. And this mercy of Lord Krishna is like a rain which is pouring everywhere. The rain, it doesn't discriminate that whether I should fall on a perfect nice floor or whether I should fall on a stool or in a muddy pool or in a swimming pool. No, the rain is falling just, on the ground, irrespective of which place it is. Similarly, this mercy of Lord Shri Krishna is simply flowing. But it's up to us that how we can take up that mercy. When rain falls, if we collect it in a vessel, then we can collect that rainwater, right? So our heart has to become that same vessel in which we can take this mercy of Nityananda, take this mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which is incessantly flowing without any discrimination. It's us, the vessel, the heart that we are carrying have all kinds of pores. The pores of all anarthas, lust, anger, greed, envy, pride. Our vessel is full of those pores. And that's why all the mercy that is collected is flowing throughout those pores. Now it's up to us that we have to close those pores. We have to put a particular, that kind of a seal on it. The seal of love, the seal of compassion. We have to put on those pores so that they are closed and finally our vessel becomes perfect so that we can hold on to that mercy. The mercy is there. It's up to us how we are taking it. It's there. It's coming through devotees. It's coming through Nityananda. It's coming through Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's coming through our Devadya Srila Prabhupada and our present Guru Vargas. Lord Krishna's mercy is coming. It's up to us how we want to hold it. Right? And it's only by Krishna's mercy that we can be elevated and we can be engaged in his service. So how it is that in purport Mahaprabhu is explaining that everyone is eligible to become Krishna's devotee. But the thing is that one has to be simply trained according to the approved process. And to that, Srila Prabhupada is making a point that we should take up this responsibility. Yes, Mahaprabhu is saying that I am distributing, the fruits of love of Godhead to everybody. But he himself is confining himself to a limited thing that he's saying with my two hands, how much I can distribute. So I want to engage everybody so that everybody can come forward and try to distribute this love of Godhead. Jare dekho tare kaho Krishna upadesh. Wherever you see and whomever you find, just try to speak about Krishna. Just try to make them Krishna conscious. That is basically the highest welfare work that we can do for the society. As in Bhagavad Gita also, Srila Prabhupada says that a Krishna consciousness, a person who is Krishna conscious, he knows everything. He is in the knowledge of Krishna, that Krishna is the source of everything. Now it's up to him that he performs some welfare activity and distribute this knowledge. And that is the highest welfare activity. This is, there in the 5th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, where highest welfare activity is described. That is the highest welfare activity that a person can do, is to preach and render service to the Lord, just to benefit the whole world. So anyway, coming on to the topic that Mahaprabhu is saying that yes, I have already described about people like Vyasadeva, Four Kumaras, Sukdev Goswami, they achieve receiving Krishna's mercy and coming on to the level of doing pure devotional service. Now let me talk about those immovable things like trees and plants, when they are receiving the mercy of Krishna. So to this, today's verse, which is 206, it's a beautiful, beautiful verse. Worth spending hours and hours on this verse. Again, the pattern goes on. Like Mahaprabhu, when he says, we have seen 200 verses we have covered of this chapter. When Mahaprabhu is saying something to Srila Sanatana Goswami, he is giving praman, he is giving references from Srimad Bhagavatam and various other scriptures. So here also, now when he says that yes, Krishna's mercy is there, and how even the trees and the plants get benefit out of it. And he is giving this beautiful verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. It is from the 10th canto, 15th chapter, verse number 8. Dhanyayam adya dharani trina viruddhastvat padastasho dhruma lata karajam bhim prashata nadyo abraha khaga mriga sada vilokir gopyo antarena bhujayor api yat Brihastri. So actually, let me read the translation. This land of Vrindavan, Rajabhumi, is glorified today because your lotus feet have touched her earth and grass. Your fingernails have touched her trees and creepers, and your merciful eyes have glanced upon her rivers, hills, birds, and beasts. The gopis have been embraced by your arms, and even the goddess of fortune desires this. Now all of these are glorified. Purport. This verse is from Srimad Bhagavatam 10:15-8, was spoken by Lord Shri Krishna to Lord Shri Balaram. So this verse is actually spoken by Krishna to Balaram. But the hidden thing is, here Krishna actually, he is supposed to be glorified, Krishna is supposed to be glorified, and Krishna, and all acharyas, they do glorify Krishna. But here Krishna is taking a subservient position and he is glorifying Lord Balaram. But indirectly, when we'll see, this verse, such a beautiful verse, we'll come to the level of understanding that Krishna is glorifying himself. Literally, Krishna is glorifying himself. But right now he is taking a position where he is glorifying Lord Balaram. But we all know that there is no difference between Lord Krishna and Lord Balaram. They both are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They both are the fountainhead. The only difference is the color and the mood. Right? So what he says, Dhanyayam, Dhanya, Dhanya means it's so fortunate and so auspicious. Adya, today this Dharani, earth. Today this earth has become Dhanya, has become fortunate, has become auspicious. Why? Because Padasprasho, because she has been touched by your lotus feet. She has been touched by your lotus feet, and that's why today this earth has become so fortunate. It's not that this earth was not fortunate before. We all know that how when Krishna, he lifted this Bhumi Devi from Garbhodak ocean as Varahadev, she was being touched by Lord Varahadev. Right? So she was fortunate then also. But here he is saying that now today this earth has become so fortunate by your touch of your lotus feet. Trina viruddhastvat, because you have touched the grass, the bushes, because you are walking on them. So this earth has become dhanya. This earth has become so much fortunate, so much auspicious today by your touch. But, there is a comparison in this verse. We'll try to understand that comparison. But more fortunate are the Dhruma and Lata. Dhruma means trees and Lata means creepers. So even more fortunate are those Dhruma, are those trees and creepers. Why? Because Karajam Vrishtaha, because Prabhupada is telling the meaning as, just a minute. Abhimrishta means they are being touched by Karaja. Kara means hands and Ja means born, like we say Padmaja. So who is Padmaja? One who is born on lotus, Lord Brahma, also Lakshmi Devi. But Ja means to be born. So what is born through the hands? The fingernails. So that's why he's saying that Druma and Lata means these trees and creepers are even more fortunate when Lord Balaram, because these trees and bushes, they embrace Lord Balaram. When Balaram goes into those bushes, into those, kunjas, these trees and these creepers, they embrace the body of Lord Balaram. And what to talk about just embracing, even with his fingernails, Kharaja, something which is born through hands, through his fingernails, he plucked those creepers. He plucked those flowers from those plants and he decorates, the body of himself. He put it on his head, or, he put it on the head of Krishna, or he put it on the head of those cows. They decorate themselves. So that is why, this Druma and this Lata, these trees and creepers are much more fortunate than this earth. Right? So this is actually, this wonderful verse is just to imagine, visualize this whole fact. Coming on to the third line, it says Nadya. Nadya means those rivers. Those rivers are even more fortunate than those Druma and Lata, than those trees and creepers. Why? Because there, Krishna and Balram, they enter into those rivers. So they are not even touched but by their lotus feet, but Balaram and Krishna, they enter in the rivers. And the rivers get this opportunity to embrace the whole body of Krishna and Balram. And then they do their all sporting, the water sporting, the water pastimes. So rivers are even more fortunate. And then Adra means the hills. They are even more fortunate. Why? Because he's saying, Balaram, when you climb on those hills, you climb on Giriraj Govardhan, you go into the caves and take rest there. So basically, the mountains are even more fortunate. And then they're saying, Khaga Mriga. Khaga means birds and Mriga means deer. So yes, all these things are fortunate, but even more fortunate are the birds and the deer. Why? Because Sada vai lokir. Sada means always, eternally. Avaya loke means they get your merciful glances because they have the eyes, right? All those trees, all those birds, Khaga and Mriga, they have eyes and they look at you and you look at them. So with your, merciful and compassionate glances, you look at them. So even though apparently looks that the birds and the deers, they don't touch you, or they don't have those intimate physical contact with you, but just by seeing each other, you pass on those merciful glances because of which their hearts are touched, right? So as their hearts are touched, the melting of that heart takes place, and there is an exchange of loving glances between both of you. So again, point comes, the consciousness level of the trees and plants is much more less as compared to those of birds and deer, right? So he's saying that these birds and deer are even more fortunate because you see them, they see you, there is an eye contact, and because of those eye contact, you touch each other's hearts, right? And when you touch each other's hearts, there is a melting of heart, there is an exchange of love that takes place, that exchange of love is not there with those trees or rivers, right? Like also like when Krishna, he walks, and how does he reciprocate with those peacocks? He honor them by putting up the tail feather that peacock leaves. He just pick up and put it on his head. This is how he reciprocates. So they are even more fortunate. But the most fortunate are Gopya Antarena Bhujayor. Bhujayor means the two strong arms. So Lord Balaram, the two strong arms that you possess. And Antarena, what is there in between those two arms? Your strong chest, your broad chest is there. So you embrace those gopis, those gopis. So most fortunate are those gopis, those cowherd dancers, because to whom you embrace them in between your arms and they are close to your chest. Api yat sprihastrihi. This verse, this last line shows that here Krishna wants to glorify himself, because he's saying that yat sprihastrihi, that this is actually, this fortune is not even possessed by the goddess of Lakshmi herself. So we all know that the goddess of Lakshmi resides on the chest of Krishna, not on the chest of Balaram, right? So here Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives a very beautiful description. He says that the goddess of fortune who lives in Vaikuntha on the chest of Lord Narayana, she also once desired to be embraced on the chest of Sri Krishna. And thus she performs severe austerities just to achieve these blessings. And it is described that till today, Lord Lakshmi Devi is doing this austerity, this penance, just to, so that she can have this, once she can perform in that Rasa dance. But finally, she just got a place. Therefore, she begged Krishna to allow her to remain on the chest in the form of a golden line, and he granted her this benediction. So this was written by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So with this last, when the goddess of fortune even wants to desire to get embraced in your arms, we know that this Krishna himself wants to glorify himself. But, just as being civilized, cultured, he's not glorifying himself, but he's glorifying Lord Balaram. So we saw that how even those trees, those rivers, those non-moving objects also, they are also considered as Atmarama. Why? Because their main thing is just so that they can be engaged in the service of Lord Shri Krishna. And also, there is another praman that Mahaprabhu is giving, which is from the Venu Geet, where in the chapter 21, where gopis are, talking to each other and glorifying the flute of Krishna. And he's saying, my dear friend, Krishna and Balram are passing through the forest, leading their cows and their cowherd boyfriends. And they both are carrying those ropes, which at the time of milking, they bind the rear legs of the cow so that cows doesn't move and the cows can be milked easily. So those ropes they are carrying, and they are simply playing on their flute. And, and what is happening because of that? Those ropes, sometimes they are decorating their waist, sometimes they are putting their, putting on their head. So those ropes are so fortunate that they are touching the body of Krishna and Balaram, sometimes on the waist and sometimes on the head. And when they are playing the flute, what's happening? All the moving entities. It's said when Krishna plays his flute, even the Yamuna stops. So all the moving things, the gopis, the cowherd boys, they become stunned. They become like a statue. And the flow of river Yamuna stops, and they become stunned. And they become basically, they stop moving. Whereas the non-moving living entities, like trees and plants, they start moving in jubilation, just hearing the flute of Krishna. So definitely all these things are so wonderful. The trees, they start moving. And then the plants, the creepers, the trees, it said that they were full of fruits and flowers due to this ecstatic love of Krishna. They are so full, the trees are so full of the fruits that because of their weight, they are bowing down. It looks because their weight, but here the gopis, the mood of gopis are such that they are describing that it's not because of the weight of the fruits that the branches of the trees are going down, but going down, but it's that they want to pay dandavats to Krishna and Balaram as they walk into that forest, and that's why they are going down. So that's the mood of the gopis. This is also explained, this verse, which is 208, is also explained by Ramananda Rai when we were talking about this samvad between Ramananda Rai and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. At that time also this verse came up, that this is the mood of an advanced devotee. They see everything in service of Krishna. They are not seeing gopis are not seeing those mundane trees just going down, just bending down rather, by the weight of the fruits they are carrying. No, they are saying, no, it's not because of the weight of the fruits, but it's that they are becoming so ecstatic that Krishna and Balaram have entered into their forest, that just to pay dandavats to them, they are going down. That's why they are bending down, so that Krishna and Balaram can touch those creepers, those twigs, those branches of the trees and make their way. So this is the mood. Even the trees of Vrindavan, even the creepers, even the rivers, even the hills, they are not simply animate objects. Right? So here, and also he wants to try to explain, actually I was hearing one of the lecture in which, Prabhu was mentioning that I don't have this realization my own self. So I'm just quoting that he was telling that there are small, trees. Indra Prabhu used to keep those small trees from Vrindavan, those small, plants in his altar, and he used to worship them. And then somebody asked Indra Prabhu that why you are worshipping those trees and those plants, and keeping them on the altar. So Indra Prabhu told that these plants and these creepers, they are not ordinary things. Krishna said that since, these creepers and these plants are doing a service to Lord Balram and to Lord Shri Krishna himself, so they are supposed to be worshipped. They are supposed to be worshipped. They are from that Chintamani Dham, and they are those Kalpavriksha trees. They are not just the ordinary mundane trees we talk about. So that's the mood, even this advanced devotee possess. That even these plants, these creepers, gopis are saying that they are the most highly elevated ones. They are the elevated devotees, that they are also offering all their services to Lord Shri Krishna and Balaram. So they are also Atmaramas. So to this we end up, and in the text number 210, he says, Mahaprabhu says that I have already explained you the 13 meanings of this Atmarama verse. So we discussed about the other 13 meanings of this Atmarama verse, and 6 more he has already completed. And what are those 6 more? Where Atmarama means, Atma means mind, so mental speculators. Atma means endeavor. And Atma means endurance. And Atma means intelligence. So with intelligence there are 2, those who are learned scholars and those who are illiterate and foolish. And then finally, those who are conscious of the eternal service to their Krishna, of being eternal servant of Lord Shri Krishna. So here we have completed 210 till verse 210, and we have completed the 19 different meanings of Atmarama verse that Mahaprabhu is trying to explain to Srila Sanatana Goswami. So the next speaker can continue with 211, where another different meanings of Atma will come forward, and hence, we can see the different explanations of the Atmarama verse. So thank you all so much for patiently listening. I know while I was describing this verse, I heard myself felt so much ecstatic, so I just went with the flow. So kindly forgive me for that. And let's see if we have any questions, any comments. Thank you all so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Kirida Sundari Mataji. Thank you so much. That was such a beautiful class, as always. And I really liked how clearly you were mentioning about the two different kinds of intelligent people. One who are naturally intelligent, the others who may not be learned scholars, and also about these people who are naturally have their eternal relationship, who are conscious of their eternal servitor relationship with Krishna. So that the clarity you made, that really meant a lot. I at least understood it better today. And the examples, the verses that you were quoting about how Balram, the creepers, how they are very happy about Balram's hand, the mercy given by Balram's hand, what they felt, and the deer seeing Krishna, the animals seeing Krishna, and Krishna seeing them, Balram seeing them, all that was so beautiful. All the verses were so relevant, so beautifully explained, the way you split the verse into different parts and you explained. That was also very, very beautiful. Thank you very much, Mataji. Very relevant examples, and I loved the Ayandra Prabhu incident. Thank you for quoting that. That makes a lot of, it gives us a lot of inspiration. Thank you very much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mataji, for attentively, listening and summarizing the whole class. It's so beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Mataji.
All glories to you, Mataji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Kirida Sundari
Mataji.
What a wonderful class. Wonderful class. The thought came to my mind as you were describing how, everything, inanimate objects, talking about the rope and this, and I was just thinking that, even the Archa Vigraha, even when we're doing our, worship of the deity, and we're dressing them on the altar and stuff, yes, their jewelry they wear is prasadam and all that stuff. That thought is there, but this whole idea that, I don't know if this is the fact, but I'm feeling it is, that since the Archa Vigraha is non-different than the Lord, that even all those different paraphernalia that we use to decorate the Lord, they're also very, very blessed. And, I wonder how much life, whatever, I don't know, that they have within them to have that mercy of being able to decorate the Lord. Just a thought that came to my mind.
Yes, Manishwari Mataji, that's so beautiful. But yes, this paraphernalia, we decorate, the body of Krishna and Radharani or Balarama, whatever Archa Vigraha we have. Yes, they are non-different. And it's said that they are non-different from Balaram himself. Every paraphernalia of Krishna that is used in Krishna's service is Balaram. Whether this jewelry, hairs, ornaments, or, the outfits, everything is Balaram. And that's such a beautiful understanding that, yes, how much life they have, but still they are being used in Krishna's service.
Yes, because you
so they are more fortunate.
You immediately think of the Archa Vigraha and the things we decorate them with, but that's the same as Krishna himself, right? So,
yeah, so nice.
Wonderful, thank you.
So nice, thank you.
Thank you very much, Kirida Sundari Mataji. Very nicely explain everything. And the Purniswari Mataji also mentioned about when we dress the deity and you yourself dressing so nicely and beautifully with Radha, Golokananda, And then I see the pictures of them that you sent. It's very, very beautiful. So, thank you.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you so much for your blessings, your prayers. And yes, whenever I'm dressing, I'm simply trying to assist my spiritual master in that favor. So our glories to him and glories to Srila Prabhupada, because of which, we are getting this opportunity to go so close to Krishna and getting this opportunity to decorate them. Otherwise, what adhikar or what eligibility do we have? So it's only the mercy of the spiritual master and Srila Prabhupada that we are able to do it.
Yeah, it's mercy. And but it is also the one who receives the mercy is glorious. Because mercy is available, but who accepts it?
Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji. Very, very beautiful class. Very nicely.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Please come again. Yes. Does anyone else have any question? Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Kirida Sundari Mataji. Very, very beautiful class. Thank you giving for this summary of the verses, Mataji, and your example of the diamond was really very nice. That you are talking about, even though having some inconvenience in the association of devotees, but still when you try to, get the association and you shape yourself as a diamond, it's really very, very nice, Mataji. Thank you for putting that example, and others all. The whole class was so beautiful, Mataji, so beautiful, describing how Krishna's mercy is not only for the humans, but also like plants, water, everywhere Krishna's mercy is spread. And you gave the example of the rain. That was so beautiful, Mataji. Rain does not choose any person, or it doesn't avoid some person. It gives everybody, it plays everybody. That was so beautiful, Mataji. So Krishna will give everybody mercy, but we should try to endeavor in our sadhana so that we can taste that mercy, Mataji. Hari Bol, Mataji. Very beautiful class. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Vinaya Mataji. Thank you so much for your kind words of appreciation. Glory to Srila Prabhupada.
If nobody has any question, then we can end the call here. Pavanchakalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhuvyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Caitanya Caritamrta ki jai. Kirida
Vrinda ki jai.
Vrinda Mataji ki also jai.
Jai.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada and glories to Guru Vargas.
Hare Krishna, all the devotees. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Kirida Sundari Mataji ki jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.